Yo, 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 this is Mr. O. Yo, 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 this is Mr. O, and today we're going to learn about operations involving functions. When we say operations, we're talking about here adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing functions. Okay, same thing like combining like terms, applying a FOIL, those kind of things. Okay, so when we talk about operations, we will see something like this on the left side here. How to read this one? This is read as f plus g of x of, okay? F minus g of x and f times g of x, okay? Or the meaning of this one here is basically you're just adding f of x by g of x. You are subtracting f of x by g of x. Uh, f of x times g of x. And this one here is just dividing f of x by g of x, okay? So some important things that you have to know. Here you're just basically combining the like terms. And remember, when you're subtracting, take note that when you're subtracting, you might need to distribute that negative sign to the second function, to the g of x. When you're multiplying, you can just distribute the monomial. You might need to do FOIL for binomials, or you might need to distribute a lot. And when you're dividing, you have to remember that you cannot have a zero on your denominator section because that will create an undefined answer. Okay. So let's go ahead now here. Perform the indicated operation using the functions below. F of x equal to x minus 2, g of x equal to 3x plus 1, and h of x equal to x squared plus 6x minus 8. Okay, so the question here are find f plus g of x, or basically f of x plus g of x. So we know f of x is x minus 2. We know that g of x is 3x plus 1. Combine the like terms. I have here an x. I have 3x here. That will give us 4x. Negative 2 plus 1 is minus 1. So the answer is 4x minus 1. Very simple. So next, g minus h of x, or that means g of x minus h of x. My g here is 3x plus 1 minus h of x. Remember that this x squared plus xx minus 8 will need to distribute that negative there. So you have to understand that there should be a parenthesis on that. So if you distribute to that, this will give you negative x squared minus 6x plus 8. You basically flip the sign. Now you can combine the like terms. I will start in the standard form with negative x squared. 3x minus 6x is negative 3x there. And 1 plus 8 will be positive 9. So this is my answer. Next, what if you're multiplying? F of h of x will be multiplied. F of x times h of x. My f of x here is x minus 2. My h here is x squared plus 6x minus 8. Don't forget that you can distribute the x to all of them there. That will give us x cubed plus 6x squared minus 8x. And I can multiply now the negative 2 to all of them there. That will give me negative 2x squared, negative 12x, and negative positive 16, because negative 2 times negative 8 is positive. You're going to combine the like terms. So the answer here will be x cubed plus 4x squared minus 20x plus 16. And that's the answer. Kaboom. When we are dividing h divided by g of x, so that means h of x divided by g of x. My h here is x squared plus 6x minus 8 divided by g of x, which is 3x plus 1. You have to try if this is factorable. If that's factorable, maybe you can cancel something there. And when if we try to factor this one here, this will give us, let's try, x, 8, 4, and 2. Nope, it's not going to be factorable because if this is both negative, it will be positive 8. So it will make it positive there. It's not going to be a factorable here. So we don't need to try it. But sometimes you have to look if it's factorable. If it's factorable, you have to simplify it. But in this case, not factorable again. Anyway, so this will be your answer, but look, I put a space here. Why did I put space there? There should be a restriction. Restriction on your denominator. You only do this one here when you're dividing. What you need to do, 3x plus 1, set it equal to 0. Why? We need to identify what value of x will make our denominator 0 because it will be undefined. So we don't want to have that one. So let's solve for that x there. We get a minus 1 here, minus 1 there. That will give us 3x equal to negative 1 divided by 3. That will give us negative 1/3. So the restriction x cannot be equal to negative 1/3. That should be part of your answer. So the entire thing here must be your complete answer. Okay, move on here. Evaluate. How do you evaluate? We're going to apply the operation with evaluation here. For example, we have f plus h of negative 3. That means it's f of x plus h of x. Okay, we're still going to apply the x there, and then later on we plug in the negative 3. Okay, so what's f of x? F of x is 8x minus 5 plus h of x is 3 minus 2x. Combine the like terms, so that will give us 8x minus 2x will give me 6x. Negative 5 plus 3 is minus 2, right? But remember, we are evaluating it with negative 3. That means we're going to plug in that negative 3 to the x value there. So that will become now 6 times negative 3 minus 2. So the answer will be negative 18 minus 2 or negative 20 is our answer. Okay, some books references, they don't do it that way. Some, they would like you to plug in the value of negative 3 right away. Let's do it. Let's prove that the answer will be the same thing. So if you plug in the negative 3 to them, so it will be f of negative 3 plus h of negative 3. That's also fine. Let's plug in negative 3 to the f here. So this will become 8 negative 3 minus 5. That will give us 8 times negative 3 is negative 24, minus 5 will be negative 29. Now let's put it now to the h. H here is 3 minus 2 times negative 3. Negative 2 times negative 3 will give us positive 6. 3 plus 6 is 9. Negative 29 plus 9 is equal to negative 20. So the answer will be the same. So again, you have option. Either you solve it the way we have been doing it, just leave it as x, a function of x, and then when you find the expression, you can plug in the c value or the negative 3 to the x and find and evaluate it. Or you can just evaluate for each function and combine them. So either way, it's still going to be correct. Okay, let's go ahead now here. Next is h minus g of 2. So let's try to work on the 2 now. So you have h of 2 minus g of 2. So what is h of 2? You're going to plug in the 2 right here. So that will give us 3 minus 2 times 2 minus g of 2. You're going to plug in the 2 to the 2x's here for the g because there are 2x values. So 3, 2 squared minus 6 times 2 plus 1. Don't forget, when you're subtracting, there should be a parenthesis there. 3, negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. So 3 minus 4 will be negative 1 there. This one here, take note there's a parenthesis. 2 squared is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. 6 times 2 is negative 12. Plus 1 there is going to be positive 1. Now we know that 12 minus 12 is canceled, that was 0. So we have here is left is positive 1, but there's a negative outside, those that will become negative 1 now. So the answer is just negative 2. Next, h of sorry, h divided by f of negative 2. So h of negative 2, f of negative 2. So our h of negative 2 is 3 minus 2 times negative 2 divided by f. So that's be 8 times negative 2 minus 5. That will give us negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. So 3 plus 4 is 7. 8 times negative 2 is negative 16. Minus 5 is negative 21. And 7 over 21 is the same thing as negative 1 third. And that's the answer. Okay? Very simple, right? Now let's do the composite function. What's composite function? Composite function is combining or putting one function to the other function, to another function. Okay, so this some students they call it fug. Okay, fug means f of g of x. That means the g of x will go to the f of x. Okay, so the inner one will go to the outer one. Okay, so here we have given f of x equal to 5x minus 7, g of x, x squared minus 8. Find fug or f of, this is really the o, like a o. It's not really o there, but it's like a small like degree symbol, like a smaller o symbol. So f of g of x, okay? That means it's f of g of x. So that means the g of x, which is this one here, can be written as f of x squared minus 8. And that means this x squared minus 8 will go to the f. So the f is 5x minus 7. So I'm going to replace that x here by x squared minus 8. Okay? So to make it simple, this g of x will be plugged in right there on that x, on the f. So now it becomes 5x squared minus 8 minus 7. Imagine, guys, this red one here is the x on the f, and it has been replaced by the function g of x. Then the rest is just simplifying. Distribute the 5 there. That will give you 5x squared minus 40 minus 7. So the answer is 5x squared minus 47. Very simple, right? Now, what if you're given g of 2? The meaning of that one is that you're going to put the g on the g of x. So your g of x, which is this one here, will go inside of the same function. So this x squared minus 8 will go inside of that x there on the same function. So g of x squared minus 8. So the x squared minus 8 will be replaced by x squared minus 8 on that x there. So it will become now x squared minus 8. That's your x. You squared it minus 8. So what's the meaning of this one here? The meaning of that one is that we have two x squared minus 8 and another x squared minus 8 there. Oh, there's a bug. Minus 8 minus 8 there. Okay, so we will apply FOIL here. I'm going to write here on the side. I'm going to have x to the fourth negative 8x squared negative 8x squared plus 64 minus 8. Combine the like terms x. Combine the like terms here. We'll have x to the fourth minus 16x squared. 64 minus 8 is going to be 56. And that's up. That's the answer if the question was g of 2. Now, since there's a 2 there, we can plug in the 2 now to the x values here. That gives us 2 to the fourth minus 16, 2 squared plus 56. 2 to the fourth is going to be 16 minus 16. 2 squared is times 4 there plus 56. And then 16 times 4 is 64 plus 56. So let's put in the calculator. 16 minus 64 plus 56. The answer is just 8. Okay. Another way of doing that one is that you can plug in the g of 2. G of 2, you're going to plug in the 2 right there. So g of 2 will go inside the g. So on the side, what's g of 2? That will give us 2 squared minus 8. 4 minus 8 is going to be negative 4. Then that negative 4 will go to the g now outside, and then it will be negative 4 squared minus 8. Negative 4 squared is positive 16 minus 8 is just going to be 8. A lot simpler, but another way of doing the composite function. Okay? And I hope you learned something. As always, kaboom!